Hello, everyone. It's episode 342 of Aussie Tech Heads. Welcome once again to another episode. 23rd of May we are at the moment, and we thank you for your attendance. All right, tonight we're going to have a big show. We've got news, and more news tonight. Other than that, there's just chit-chat, banter, you know how it goes. Aussie Tech Heads is brought to you by aussietechheads.com.au/hosting, affordable, professional, fast Aussie servers hosting. You need a web page for your business. You want to need a blog, blah, blah, blah. Go and have a look at them. And also USB on the go, or whatever it is. USBonthego.com.au. Now, I'm going to talk about them later on, and because we've also got a car charger to give away. So hopefully, if I say this early enough in the show, Will, can you please pick a winner? We'll have a winner for when we're going to do the segment. All right. Now
I can organise that.
we got a full complement here. The old crew is back, and let's say because he's back after a 2 weeks absence. Let's talk to Eric. How you doing, Eric?
Hello, gentlemen. How do you do, listeners? Hello.
Good. What have you been up to? Same old. Busy.
I have been working very hard.
Looks like you're cold down there.
Oh, it's freezing.
You got
Pissing
the
down.
big jumper on. You.
No, it's not a jumper. It's a shirt. My monogrammed shirt.
Oh, monogrammed.
My initials on it.
Nice.
With my gay cufflinks.
Oh, nice. You'll be able to go around and spend the night with Kevin Rudd. He's more.
No thanks.
All right.
I'd rather spend the night with.
Ooh, Shane. Oh, who was that? All right. Now, Shane, how you going?
Yeah, not too bad.
That's good. What have you been up to? Nothing much?
Oh, no, very busy week. Very busy. Very busy at work. Still got hang-ups with these auditors and had some IT problems. I mean, you witnessed one a couple of days ago when my switch died, and now my internet phone's bloody carked it this morning. So bad week.
Oh, that's no good. You want to talk to Will? How you going, Will?
How we doing? Yeah. I'm much more up on technology.
Oh, look at that! You've sent us a still picture. That's beautiful.
I noticed that. That's great. That's Hangouts for you.
That's beautiful.
That's only at your end. It's fine here.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good. As long as it's fine there. All right. Now, let's get started. Let's go to This Week in Tech History from the Tom Merritt chronologically. What that word is? Chronology. Chronology. The chronology of tech. Shane, can you please give us a one of Tom's little beauties?
Yeah, okay. May 19, 2006, Apple opened its 20,000 square foot store at 767 Fifth Avenue. It was the second Apple store in New York City, but the iconic glass cube made it the most famous.
Oh, nice. Now,
I'll do one more.
Yeah.
May 22, 1990, Microsoft released Windows 3.0. It featured big improvements in the interface, multitasking. Its control panel feature caught the eye of Apple, which sued and lost.
Now I do remember 3.0. I think most of us probably did 3.11, but I do remember 3.
Networking one. 3.11.
Yeah, but it was sort of I thought it sort of became the default anyway. Like I think everyone just had 3.11, didn't they?
Well, 3.1, there wasn't a great. The only difference was all the networking stuff was in 1.1, but 3.1 was most of the home.
Oh, all right. Yeah. Look at this one. You missed this one, Shano. May 22nd, 1980. Can you believe that long ago, Namco released an arcade game called Is that Puckman? Not Pac-Man. It'd be
Pac-Man.
Pac-Man, wouldn't it?
Must be Pac-Man. It's probably another typo, Tom.
Yeah, you better get on to him. When it was released in the US in October, the name was altered to Pac-Man. So we should have read it first. See, sorry, Tom. Apologies. Yes. So it was Puckman, but they changed it from May. So released as Puckman in May, changed it to Pac-Man. Oh, right, that was a good game. I remember playing that game all the time. That was good. All right, now listen. Let's get into some stories. I think. I'll go first. Not that I want to go first with a negative type of story, but Vodafone are still losing customers. There's this story. I just picked this up mainly for the last paragraph in this story, actually. But well, I'll go through the guts of it. For the March 31st quarter, Vodafone reported that it had just over 3 million customers in Australia, and that's down 108,000 from January 13. So 108,000 in a quarter they've lost. This is a continuing trend that saw Vodafone, and as the word it was used here, hemorrhage 443,000 customers last year. Now, Group Chief Executive Vitro Salioli noted that all that Vodafone's Africa, Middle East and Asia Pacific markets grew bar Australia and New Zealand. Australia continued to experience steep revenue declines. Now, how's this? This is the paragraph this is why I pulled the story. At group level, Vodafone saw profit for the 2013 financial year nosedive from 10.82 billion in 2012 to just over 1.04 billion. That's a hell of a drop. Sorry?
If you can't lose $9 billion in revenue and still be standing, you sure it didn't say they lost? Well, the revenue went down by 1 point
Yeah,
billion
that's
to
what
1
it
billion?
was.
Yeah,
It went from 4 to 1 or something.
Oh, is that what it means? It says Vodafone saw the profit for the 2013 financial year nosedive from over 10.82 billion in 2012 to 1.04 billion.
Ooh, I've got to check that.
That read, yes, I know. That's why I picked it out, because I thought, now this is that's a big drop.
Where'd you get that from? Is that on the notes? I'm assuming that's in the show notes.
Yeah, so
anyway.
in the show notes, aussietechheads.com.au
I'll check that out.
/podcast. There's the show note. You'll find the show notes there, and there's always links. Well, for my show notes anyway. There's always links, and it'll take you directly to the story. So Eric's going to suss that one out. Look, I've got a picture too for those on the video.
Typo.
Yeah, well, I just thought it was incredible, so that's why I pulled it out. Now, other than that, what else we got going on? Shane. Where's there an echo?
I wasn't putting my hand up. I was just scratching my head.
I wasn't even watching. I'm just picking you out like a fly. Out of ointment.
Alrighty. Okay, so what I will do is my first story is going to be about Facebook, as I wait for it to load it. So apologies, I'm not working from show notes tonight. But
Okay, I've got it here. Sorry to interrupt.
All right. Yes.
That's not sales. That's profit. Yeah. Okay. So their profit last year was 7 billion euros, or 10.82 billion Australian dollars, and this year, on a group level, not Australian level, so that's the whole world, went down to 673 million euros, which is 1 billion Australian dollars.
That's a hell of a drop.
It is that's a massive drop. Revenue fell 4.2% to they're still turning over 68.6 billion Australian dollars.
Yeah, but that 9 billion.
That's a massive drop. That's $9 billion effectively off your bottom line.
Yeah, that is massive. Now, why is it that people are deserting them? Is it because they've
because their coverage is shit?
Pretty much.
Garbage. But I'm surprised that it's affecting everywhere else, because I thought it was only Australia. I hear good reports about Vodafone coverage everywhere else. Australia was garbage.
Yeah, I think the Europe, it says here that the Vodafone's Africa, Middle East and Asia Pacific markets grew, and it was only the Australian and New Zealand market that shrunk. So, so that's no good. That's no good.
There might have been some write-downs in there. Look, those profits can hide a lot of things. They might have written down the value of the Australian business, for example.
Yeah, rightio. Yeah. Yeah, so, I just pulled that out, so I don't want to spend too much time on it. I just pulled him out just because of that massive drop. And, look, Vodafone...
Nonetheless.
Sorry?
Interesting nonetheless.
Yeah, that's right.
Interesting nonetheless.
All right. Shane, Facebook.
Yes. Eminem song publisher is suing Facebook for Facebook's ad agency, saying that they copied music from one of the rapper's songs. 8 Mile Style filed a lawsuit in Detroit alleging I don't pick these words. Alleging that Facebook, the ad agency, broadcast online last month, copied music from Eminem's 2000 song "Under the Influence." The Detroit Free Press reports that the 30-second ad was featured in a webcast on Facebook. Founder Mark Zuckerberg to announce Facebook Home, and then it goes on to say what the Facebook Home's all about. And it doesn't actually say how much they're being sued for, other than the fact that they're being sued.
No good. You find it incredible to believe that Facebook would actually just lift a song, and especially of a well-known commercial song, and use it without correct permissions. I find it incredible.
Yeah, right.
Well, it's incredible. Why wouldn't you? Like, they got enough money. They could probably do what they need to do and pay what they need to pay. Why would they do that? You know?
Yeah, but when is Facebook not stolen anything? The original idea was stolen from two blokes in the first place.
Yeah, well, as the story would lead you to believe. Yes.
Oh, I believe it.
Well, then you can have another story. Then you can do your next story.
Okay, I'll do a story. Not that I've prepared very well for this, seeing it was the last minute. Apple smartwatch. Not that I'm going to get one.
No, not into it.
No. Can you imagine you have to charge your watch at lunchtime every day?
Well, you know that there are those watches that you can, as you're walking along, they'll charge just from the shaking of your hand.
Yeah, I don't know what they call. I've got one of those on now, but I don't know what they call that. Apple smartwatch may not launch until late 2014. It will use biometrics. Maybe that's what you're talking about.
That could
and
be it.
iPod Nano technology. KGI Securities analyst Ming-Ching Kuo, who has a number of occasions offered accurate information about Apple's product plans, issued a new research report this week outlining his expectations for Apple's rumoured smartwatch device, informally dubbed iWatch, which is pretty boring.
Well,
despite expectations it could launch this year, it won't be launched, according to him, until the second half of next year.
look, this is this actually a strong rumor? Do you think, or is this a weak rumor? I think.
No, I think that's a pretty strong rumor. But they didn't get they didn't think of this themselves. They because remember they brought out those little iPod Nano thingies, little square things, and someone started developing a watch band for it. They went, oh,
cool.
what a brilliant idea! We'll do that. Because Apple's very good at taking things that already exist and making them a whole lot better. That's what they're good at.
That's what they do.
So it's definitely not their idea, and I reckon it's a pretty strong rumor. My prediction.
Yeah, because I know there's a lot of rumors around iOS 7 that's coming out. Supposed to be rocking our socks and all this sort of stuff. But
Well,
it has
better
to
because they're gonna.
It has to.
I haven't had a look at it.
Is it out? Is it on the development side or whatever?
It's on the dev site, but I haven't had a look at it.
Oh well, you can't talk about it anyway, can you? If you
I'm not. I can't talk about it anyway.
oh,
yeah.
don't worry, who cares? So yeah, well,
I don't want to be sued by Apple because they got a little bit of money behind them.
oh, just a tad. Well, only because I don't pay any tax.
Oh, come on!
I got another one.
It's legal.
No,
It's
well,
legal.
It is. I got another one. I got a U.S. Senate investigation revealed Tuesday that Apple channeled profits into the Irish incorporated subsidiaries that had no declared tax residency anywhere in the world. Apple said on Tuesday that the arrangement dated back for over 30 years. What's that? Yeah, that'd be right. And had been negotiated with Ireland's government, which has long angered the European economic peers. Apple paid taxes worth 2% of its $74 billion in overseas income. Apple now channels most of its good on them. Apple now channels most of its overseas sales through these companies that are incorporated in Ireland, but for tax purposes are resident in no jurisdiction. U.S. rules that allow companies incorporated abroad not to pay U.S. taxes complement that arrangement. Apple tax head.
Well, there you go. Change the law.
Well, yeah, that's exactly. Yeah, that's
so
right.
they can't have a go at Apple. Because that's what everyone's saying. So, well, hang on a minute. In Australia, if you own a subsidiary overseas, you've got to consolidate those accounts and pay tax here, right? Now, if the US laws state that if you're incorporated abroad, you don't pay taxes. They don't pay taxes unless they bring the money in.
Right.
That's the only time. If you got to physically bring the cash in, and you
Right.
pay tax. So you got 30 billion offshore. You bring in $1 billion, you pay 35 cents in a dollar. Got to remember too, their tax rate is 35 cents in a dollar, corporate tax rate, one of the highest in the world. Number one. Number two, when they pay dividends, there's no. I don't know if a lot of people understand imputation credits on shares. There's no tax credit, in other words. So there's a double taxation situation going on there. You pay tax at the corporate level, and then when you get paid dividend as a shareholder, you've got to pay tax again. So there's no motivation for them to bring the money back.
So do you think this is just a bit of just all smoke and mirrors legislation from the US? But they're not changing the law because they understand that this is their tax is too high.
They change the law if they want, but the problem is that typically of governments that are broke, they'll always try and rattle in the cage and pick on the guy with the biggest pockets. And in this case, one of them is Apple. And the governments that are broke around the world, every single one of them are socialist governments. Every single one. Or dictatorships.
Now, Apple...
So make that out what you will.
There's also the same story on Google as well. Basically,
same with Google.
Same story.
It's called the Dutch-Irish sandwich, it's called.
Yeah.
They're
but I mean, you figure it out. They paid 2% on 74 billion. So they paid, they pay 350 million.
No, well, 10%, 700.
No, hang on, 750. So
1.4 million. They paid probably $1 billion. Just call it $1 billion.
Yeah.
Now, Apple tax head Philip Bullock told the US Senate Permanent Subcommittee on Investigations on Tuesday that one of these three subsidiaries, Apple Operations International, or AOI, apparently, had not submitted a tax return anywhere for 5 years. All three were registered in Ireland in 1980 and re-registered as unlimited companies in 2006, which means under Irish law, they do not have to publish annual accounts. So the subcommittee's report was the first time the current structure had been publicly revealed. So I don't know where all this is going, but...
They're not breaking any law. I'll tell you the best way, they want Apple to pay tax or anyone else on Google, Apple, Microsoft, they all do it, is drop your tax rate. And they'll bring it. If they say, righto, 20% on everything, Apple will go, right, cool, bring the money in. That's it.
Yeah, but
even if they make it 10%, that's still 10% more than they're getting now.
Exactly.
I mean, it's kind of irrelevant, really. You want
that's right.
Don't complain that they're not paying tax.
The percentage is irrelevant. Anything over 2% is more than what they're getting now.
Yeah, that's right.
But what it boils down to, and is why the law is probably not changing, is because you've got the government, or the US government, as it stands, probably allows this to happen with the multinationals. So they're missing out on, I don't know, what would they be missing out on? Eric, you say 30 billion?
35%. They're missing 30% on 74 billion.
So you got, say, Apple, you got Microsoft, and you got Google. So say overall,
Google. Well, they all do it. Intel, IBM, all the massive. Anyone in the top 100 or top 500 would be doing this.
So my point, where I'm trying to get, do you think that this is right? Is that okay? So say they let this happen. Okay, that because they're happy to let this happen, and they're losing from the multinationals, say, I don't know, 200 billion. Okay, they're going to lose 200 billion. Just say.
Yeah.
But because their company tax rate is so high, the rest of the suckers are more than covering that 200 billion.
That's right.
So
that's why
they don't want to change it.
The government's still got to run, right? You still got infrastructure, you got schools, hospitals, whatever governments do. In this country, not very much, but so the individuals or the smaller guys, smaller companies who can't put in place expensive structures overseas have to pay a greater share. Now, if they dropped it to 20%, not only would the companies pay more, the other people would pay less.
That's right.
Yeah.
And that's where it's going to hurt them.
And that's where it should be. And they should do that here as well.
So,
well, it won't hurt them. It's only going to bring in extra profit, because if big companies are doing it, I mean, small companies are just as capable of dodging the system as big companies. So,
No. You don't need to be very big in America to put in a similar structure to this. It might be a lot harder for you to do because your international sales are very small compared to Apple's.
Depends what your product is.
That's right. If your product is international, then you can be any size and do this.
Well, that's right.
I mean, look at an eBay seller. If an eBay seller is huge, it's not hard for them to have to hide their hide their account effectively from the government. But if the government decides to work with them instead of trying to rip them off, then they'll probably go, well, shit, it'll make it easier. I can claim stuff on tax. I can get some benefits. So
well, think about the other benefit if it comes in, right? Forgetting the benefits to government and infrastructure and all the social good that, if used properly, that will happen. Wouldn't you think that might start Apple employing people in the US because they now got money back in the country? So that could be more employment. More employment means more taxes. At the moment, they're manufacturing everything in China, not just because it's cheaper, but because it's more cost effective in other ways, like tax.
Yeah. I forget who I was ringing up the other day. I think I went to a customer's house and had to ring up AAPT, and I got New Zealand, which I wasn't expecting. But there's heaps of places that you don't really expect to get like an Indian when you ring them up. I forget where the other place was, but yeah,
There's a lot. You get a lot in Malaysia now. A stack load in the Philippines.
Yeah,
because they're relatively well trained, well educated, and they speak English.
Well, not very well.
Oh,
it's simple. When you ring any of the call centers, just say, "Dude, I want to speak to level 2," and they'll go, "Why?" I say, "Because you're not paid enough to listen to the insults I'm about to hurl at you." And you always say quickly, you get transferred to level 2.
I need someone who's a little bit more intelligent to understand my insults.
Yeah, I forget who I was talking to, but anyway, it doesn't matter. Look, Will, have you got a story? And then we might go on to the giveaway.
Yeah, I got a few. Just quickly, a couple of quick ones. Samsung confirms 10 million S4s have been sold in less than 30 days, which is surprising given that places like here, we're getting the crippled version. The sales aren't great. Everybody's buying the one instead. But yeah, it's they've taken 26 days or something to sell 10 million units, and in that time as well, they've also sold what have they sold? 10 million. Let's see. It says in the same time frame they've sold 10 million S2s, S3s, in the same period as well. So they've sold 20 million phones in 28 days or thereabouts.
Yeah.
The new Google Drive update is out, and it's fantastic. It does a few things. Actually, it coincides with the new Chrome update for your Android as well, which allows full screen and a few other things. The new Google Drive update, one of the most useful things that I think is fantastic, and actually I can switch. I forgot I can do this now. Is it actually has a scan feature where you can actually put a document or a receipt down. You can scan it. It will save it to your drive in the cloud, and once it's uploaded to the cloud, it will actually run OCR on it, so that then the document becomes editable and searchable.
Nice.
So that's awesome. It's fantastic. I mean, I've been scanning documents and stuff, and customers' receipts and whatever for warranty claims and things like that. And it's always a pain. Scroll back through your photos, try and find the one you want. But now that it does also turns it on to OCR, it's going to be fantastic. So that's going to be really handy. So yeah. That'll be great. Also, just quickly too, even though the HTC One has going gangbusters, like it's 60% of the people are buying that over all other phones available at the moment, HTC is still experiencing a mass exodus. Their HTC Chief Producer Officer Koji Kondra has left, along with Rebecca Rowland, which is their marketing director, their vice president of communications. Jason Gordon is one of their global communications guys. John Streckwater was director of marketing. Eric Lynn was producer of strategy manager. So all their staff are bailing. So that's interesting. We want to see how it's going to affect their phones, which is strange because this phone's absolutely going nuts. The new one. So. So yeah,
must be some issues there with maybe something going on. All right, now, Will, USB on the go. So, what are we going to talk about? We got the car charger, which is this little fella here. That one right there. Now look, I know this is only a little prize, and they're only worth I think they're $5 on the US, aren't they? USB on the go.
They're $5. Actually, it's funny you should mention that. We were talking last week at JB. What did we say? They were $15 or something at JB. $20.
20 something.
Actually, more than that. Yeah, 25 plus postage. I was actually in at Officeworks the other day buying some stationery and stuff, and they had them there, exactly the same ones. $49.
Wow. All right.
What?
Well, yeah, I know.
I'm sorry, but regardless of these guys being our sponsors and charging $5, I don't care who you are. If you pay $45 for a piece of plastic, an LED light, and a couple metal clips, you got something wrong with you.
Now, the Apple also sell these for about 40. But you can get them from usbonthego.com.au for $5 with free postage. And who has got a free one from us, Will?
Well, all you had to do was go to the Facebook page and like, comment, and share. And the random winner is Andrew Thompson.
Good on you, Andrew. Well done. So we'll
contact him and get his details and everything. And
yep, and you'll get a little package from usbonthego.com.au. Now, you can win something again this week. You can win a lead, a USB lead, something similar to this. Now, Will's going to tell us all about what we can do here with these leads.
Which leads that? Is that the
USB?
What they call the OTG cable?
Yeah.
Is basically what it does is it plugs into your phone at the micro USB end there. It plugs into your phone. And as you can see, the other end is a normal USB cable, which basically allows you to plug in pretty much any USB device, depending on what your phone supports, but anything from keyboards to mice, USB hubs, even possibly both. If you might even be able to, like with my Note 2, I can actually plug in a keyboard and a mouse through a hub, and I can actually basically set my phone on the dashboard of the car. I've got one of those silicon rollout keyboards and one of those mini mice, and I'm pretty much set. I can use my phone as a computer inside the car, do up documents or whatever. So I mean, depending on your phone, depends on which cable you have, but I mean, you can get those anywhere from $10 up. Once again, I've seen them $15, $20, $25. Actually, there was one on eBay. Some guy thought he'd be smart and he'd list a super duper best in the world, never be repeated, $999. And there was people bidding on it.
Yeah,
but anyway,
right. Wow.
$255 for that particular one. They're on sale at the moment. If you go to usbonthego.com.au, they're $255 at the moment with free postage, which in itself these days is worth like 65 cents or something for a stamp. So it basically makes the cable $2. So you can't go wrong.
Yeah, so that's good. So all you do, and same thing as last week. If you want to win one for your Android phone, just go. Well, I suppose make sure that there is a cable for your phone. Just go to the USB site on the Go site.
Yeah, if you go to the mini USB OTG cable, if you go there and have a look, it will give you a list of everything that you can use. I also forgot to mention too, you can use things like PS3 controllers and things like that, any of the USB microphones, webcams, printers, stuff like that. Allows you to control all those sort of devices.
So if you want one of those cables, we've got a few of those to give away. So we're going to do, one a week. I know that they're not worth much. They're not a great prize, but hey, they're good prizes just for sitting on your acre, just typing a few words into Facebook, isn't it? Hey? So come on.
That's it, exactly.
There we go.
You can Facebook and we probably forgot to mention, and probably should do it as well. You can also tweet. If you tweet at Aussie Tech Heads and hashtag USB on the go, just say why you want one. I want one because you guys rule and are the best company in the world, and I promise to support you forever and ever. Something like that would be good.
That's right.
But it's entirely up to you what you say.
So we've got more of those car charts giveaway later on. So that's good. Go and check them out. usbonthego.com.au, and they're good sponsors of ours. So thanks very much. All right, now let's move on. Who hasn't had a chat yet? Shane, back to you.
Hello. Hey, all right. So my next story is just one of those feel-good stories where it has a lot of stats about social networking at a glance in Australia. And this is for this year, I believe. Yeah, this year. 65% of online Australian users use social networks. 45% log on daily. 17% log on more than 5 times a day. 76% log on from a smartphone. 37% 37% view social networks first thing in the morning. 42% use the social networks last thing at night. I'm probably one of them. 34% log on at work, 6% from the toilet.
That's actually surprising. I honestly expected that to be higher than that. I would have figured, what are you doing? You're at a Macca's or a public restaurant, and the first thing you do is grab your phone. Well, maybe not the first thing. The second thing you do is grab your phone, isn't it?
Where'd you go to the toilet?
Well, I mean, in the old days, people, blokes used to read magazines and the Playboy and all that kind of stuff. In
the old days, you had to write your phone number on the back of the only social media, write your phone number on the back of the door and see what happens, but it's a whole lot different these days.
Couple more to go. The typical Facebook user spends 7 hours on the site weekly. Average number of friends, followers, and fans is 258.
Oh, God.
Well, I'm slipping a bit there.
Yeah, I'm well below those. Yes. Yeah, what are we going to talk about now? I had another couple. Where was I up to? I was up to Microsoft stuff. You want to hear about Microsoft stuff? 8-inch Microsoft tablets, minis, are supposed to going to launch in June. According to DigiTimes, component supplier Contacts, Microsoft will launch an 8-inch Surface tablet in June and a 10-inch model in about July. So
How much?
It doesn't say this. That they're only a bit of a few little rumours there.
$11 to $11.
11 to 11.
That's it.
Now in Canberra, ATM key was stolen. Did you hear about that one?
Really? ATM key.
Was it a government one? And when you went to get money out, there was nothing on it.
The unique key that for the tells the ATM machine which one it is. Yeah.
Yeah, a set of electronic keys was stolen from a Canberra security business on Monday night. Could have been used to access all automatic teller machines across the state. The keys were taken from the premises of an unnamed security firm, and otherwise you wouldn't want to name them, would you? They'd be out of business today. Within hours, they were used to access cash from 5 separate ATMs across Canberra and Queanbeyan. The keys have since been disabled. Police said all banks operating in the regions could have been affected. ACT police said the key was electronic, but would not confirm whether it included a chip or token. According to security sources, ATMs are generally protected by a PIN pad lock behind which the master key sits. The pins are known only to service staff, and the ATM cannot be opened without both PIN and key. Geez, they've all souped up in their security, haven't they?
Yeah, unless you got one of those freestanding ones that you have at hotels and stuff like that, then the hotel owner's got a key and you can just open it and there's nothing to them. So there's a big, huge difference between one and the other. They're not even close.
Well, I remember the original ATMs. Well, I worked in the NAB quite a few years ago, and we had one of those, the big ATMs, the big original ones. And yeah, there wasn't all this hoopla security. There was just 2 combination locks, and that was it. So you open both of them, you're in.
I mean, the only ones you sort of see, I guess you kind of see them a little bit now when you walk into the bank, is they've got the combination lock on the back of the vault, I guess it is, behind the ATM.
Well, that's sort of the vault, I suppose. But inside the vat, there's cartridges, say that big, and they're just full of 50s and 50s in one and 20s in the other one.
Well, that's it. They used to be full of actual 10s and everything at one point.
Yeah, I remember Westpac when they first came out. They were in 5s. They had 5s in them.
I don't see hundreds anymore.
No, you don't see many hundreds, do you?
It's 50s.
Yeah,
mainly 50s.
That's because the ATMs spit 50s out predominantly. I think that's their preferred denomination.
Yeah, but I'm saying why don't they
20s and 50s,
the ATM with the hundreds?
Because 100 was too much. And
people didn't take out 100.
That's why.
Who takes an ATM and takes $20 out?
Me. I take it in multiples of 20s.
That's usually all I've got in my account.
No, I do because
$22, so I can afford to take it out.
I take it in 20. Oh, it depends what you're buying, but I take it in 20s because I just
I don't get a choice though. I go take money out and it doesn't give me a choice of 20s or 50s.
But what do you take it out?
Depends on the ATM.
If you take out, you try and take out $40 then.
Yeah, but I don't take out $40.
Well, it depends.
He takes out 400, so
yes,
I take out 200 at a time.
So you get some. Yeah, well, you get if you were to take something out in a multiple of 20, you'd more than likely get a mixture of 50s and 20s or just 20s.
So if I took 80, as long as if I took 120, I'd get two 50s and a 20.
Possibly, yes.
Well, it depends on the ATMs. Some of them, I remember that's one thing I used to like about being with.
I'm going to try that tomorrow.
When you go to the ATM, it would give you an option. Say you took out 120, it would say, "Well, do you want 6 20s? Do you want, 2 50s and a 20? How do you want to take it out?" So
yeah. Well, I'm always taking out 100 or 200. So that's probably.
So next time you see Eric walking down the street, just stand behind him, wait till he's finished taking out the cash.
Mug him.
Yeah. No,
and I'll go your halves for not telling anyone.
But look, I want to take out multiples of 20s because I don't want to have to break big denominations in shops and stuff. I just want the little.
Why? You feel guilty.
No. I just
Do
want
you
to
think
be.
the poor bastard won't have change?
I just like small notes. I just do. I just like. I like 20s. I don't like 10s. I like 20s. I just do.
You're a girl.
Well, it was funny actually
like
in the bottle shop because we had the ATM in the bottle shop when I was working there. So people would get $50 out, cash out, then they'd go and buy a stubby for like $2. You're like, dude, I can't do it. I don't have change because everybody's been doing it to me today. So, occasionally it can be an.
Well, that's fair enough. That's fair enough too.
But I don't care. Shane, what do you take out? What's your preference?
$1,000
Chinese, Thai.
Yeah. No. I usually take out $70 for some reason.
That's a weird number.
It is a
Yeah.
weird
Bit
number.
obscure.
$70.
You're a weird dude.
It's like you take out 70 and you go, 50 for somebody else and the 20's mine.
There's 50 for there's 50 for the hooker and there's 20 for
Yeah.
lunch.
For the shower,
Yeah.
No, I won't
Yeah,
say that.
mouthwash.
All right. All right. Now,
So it must be true.
what else have I got here? Who else? Will, your turn.
Alrighty. There's just something that's been going on for a while. I hate the way this story is written in the news.com.au. They can't write stories to save their life. But basically they're saying that there's an investigation going on between Telstra Internode, iPromise, IONET, Sprintel, and a couple others, and charging as much as $48 a year to have a private phone number. Telstra's only exception to that if you've been a victim of crime and have have a thing saying you've got a stalker or whatever, they'll give it to you for free. And now here they say private. What annoys me is they say a private phone, or a silent phone is what they call it here, but they actually mean a private number. And basically they're saying, well, hang on, why is it that only people who have been threatened and have a restraining order or whatever against them or for them can get it for free? And they're saying, well, why doesn't everybody have the option to have a private number for free? It's not like it costs you anything extra to do. Because they're saying in a lot of situations, like people who might be stalked by their ex or might have problems or whatever, they don't want their numbers listed. Especially because occasionally some websites occasionally get a hold of the data, and you can backtrace a number to an address.
Well, there's sites on the net you can do that now.
They come and go, yeah. And that's the thing. Like that's what they're saying. Well, hang on. How come if somebody gets a hold of my phone number, and I know that there's somebody looking for me? Well, why should I endanger my life because I've got to pay an extra $3 a month to make it private? So,
yeah, look, I agree with that. I agree. I think if you want a private number, you should be able to have a private number. But apparently,
I think if you're
there must be a difference between private and unlisted, because I know unlisted is free,
Yeah.
but private is
yeah,
paid.
unlisting just says it doesn't show up in the yellow pages or on the online searches,
Yeah.
but it still shows up when you ring somebody. It's caller ID. I think it should be mandatory that businesses have to provide a phone number. They should not allowed to be dialed from private phone numbers. I know they have their big, exchanges and their big internal, PAX boxes and stuff, but they should be required to display their phone number, because how often do you get a phone call from somebody pretending to be a bank or pretending to be, I don't know, a debt collector or pretending to be,
Yeah.
That's why.
But the thing is, you're only, if you know that you've got somebody trying to call you, that's fine. But if I don't take calls from private numbers, because I figure, well, if you can't be bothered telling me who you are when you call me, well, why should I talk to you? And given that 95% of them never leave a message.
I don't take calls from private numbers, but I have a private number.
Well, people won't talk to you.
I
So
want people to talk to me.
I think there are a few reasons why there are a few legitimate reasons why you should not have a listed phone number, but for the most part, I think, particularly if you're a business, you should be made to have a phone number that displays, especially because it makes it so easy for telemarketers and for things like that to get a hold of you. And if that's another reason, if I answered private numbers, I'd be on my phone every 10 minutes because of some telemarketer wanting to talk to me.
I got one of those calls from wherever, and saying got errors in your Microsoft Windows and all this sort of stuff. And
Really?
Yeah, I get them every now and then. I got one the other day, and so I was just laying down, just having a bit of a rest. I thought I'll just have a play with them. And so I played with him for I probably let it go on for too long, but it was like 20 minutes, And he's going, you do this, you do that, and repeat it back to me, and he can't speak English. I probably should have just hung up on him. But anyway, after about 20, 25 minutes, he goes, all right, now go to this ammy.com, which I thought, well, that's a change. That's not log me in. But then I looked at what it was, and it was another remote control software site. And so anyway, I goes, oh yeah. I said, oh geez, you're onto this, aren't you? Errors come on everywhere. I said, oh, you're good, just giving it to him. And so right at the end when he goes, oh, can you log onto that site? I said, oh no, firewall blocks me, can't do it.
See you later.
See you later.
And you wonder why your sound card doesn't work.
I didn't know because
you're a knob.
I went through 3 people and I thought I'll just waste people's time here. I love it. I like wasting other people's time.
No, the best thing is a coach's whistle.
Yeah.
What?
No,
yes.
You just hang up.
Once you've done that, they won't call back.
Yeah,
They'll,
right.
they'll ban you because you've just sent somebody deaf, and they'll actually block your number from their call center and they won't call you back.
Right. Item 1 on the shopping list is one of those.
Or an air horn.
Rebel Sport tomorrow.
Yeah, pretty much. It's got to be a really high-pitched one, though. Because if
Now-
it's a low-pitched one, it won't go through properly.
Can we just go around the table and find out how everyone here pronounces GIF, please?
Oh, I've heard this.
Yes.
GIF. GIF.
GIF.
So we got
You're-
GIF. It's not J, it's a G. GIF. It's
Yeah.
only been
Yeah,
GIF
but
ever
do you-
since they were brought out.
You're a GIF.
But do you pronounce the word giraffe or giraffe?
Thank
GIF.
you.
it's called when you
He calls them gifts too.
Hey, they're moving pictures. What more do you want?
so we've got, are we split? Are we? Because I'm a GIF. So are we split?
Yeah.
You're right. You
It's
are a
always
GIF.
been-
You're a
it's always been
massive GIF.
It's always been GIF. That's
So
just what it's been.
The Queenslanders are GIFs and the out of towners are GIFs.
No, I've never heard it called
Queensland
anything
is
other than GIF.
the state that should have its own currency and passport laws. Yes.
Yeah, well, it's that.
What's got to
No,
be
I've
wrong with
never
that? That'd
heard
be
it.
good.
I've travelled most of Australia over the years, and I've never heard it called anything other than GIF.
All right. Well, the creator of GIF graphic format has said that his invention should be pronounced so it starts with a J rather than a hard G.
Ah.
So that's right. So Steve White told the New York Times that he was annoyed. He's very annoyed. There was still a debate over how to say the acronym. The data compression technique he used allowed images to be sent over what were then slow dial-up connections as much faster speeds than had been previously possible. His efforts paved the way for his employer to start offering its customers the ability to download colour pictures rather than being limited in black and white. Although the JPEG format later caught on because of its better compression of photos, GIFs technique remains superior at tackling images containing large areas of uniform colour where no more than 256 different colours are used in the whole picture. The Oxford English Dictionary chief editor John Simpson says a coiner effectively loses control of a word once it's out there. For instance, the coiner of quark in the physics sense has intended it to rhyme with cork. Well, there you go. So it's supposed to be
It's spelt quark.
yeah, but
What?
general usage has resulted in rhyming it with mark. So quark, okay, that's how it's said, but
It would have been Quark originally.
but it should have been quark. That's right. So
He's a massive cork.
But it's the
That's what
same.
he
It's the
is.
same as Linux.
what a
everybody
quark head.
so
You're
many
a
people
stupid
call.
cork.
And a lot of people call Linux Linux too. But even he said no, it's called Linux. But it's it's one of those things. And he's American. What would he know?
Well, I think Linux is a massive cork anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Whichever pronunciation you use for GIF or GIF, it should, of course, be the same for both the noun and the verb. I wonder how many people use it in different different
What,
ways.
get gift as opposed to get gift.
How can it be a
That's
verb?
right. Just go and get.
I am going to GIF that picture.
Have you
I'm
been
going to
gift
gift
recently?
you in the face.
I'm going to GIF all over your face. Now, the American
Well, they are animated, I suppose.
the American Heritage Dictionary.
I'm just happy
Hang on,
to
are we-
gif all over my screen. I think I'll leave it at that.
Is it like liquid paper? The American Heritage
Well,
Dictionary
it's white and globby. I mean,
also
hang on.
states,
GIF.
yes, This there, the GIF. That's
Yeah,
right.
the GIF. Yeah,
Yeah, I got
yeah.
GIF.
It's
Yeah,
white and creamy. You know, what more do you want?
that's right. And for those of you who are on the audio,
That sort of GIF isn't that good for your skin though.
no, that's right. For those of you
No,
on the
rough.
audio, we wouldn't like you to get the wrong impression of what we're talking about. It's
Right.
remember the old
Yes, we would.
GIF,
remember the
GIF
old
cream.
it's a sink cleaner and bathroom cleaner. I don't think it's
Is this
around.
even still around?
I don't think it
Speaking of
is.
things that are white and clean, you know, Mrs. Marsh died a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Yeah, I read that.
You're soaking in it.
But the only thing she knows, I mean, that's the only thing she... That's the only thing she's known for, which is a bit depressing, really.
Yeah, right. Oh, that's no good. No.
Anyway.
But anyway, well, everyone does. I suppose she must have been 30.
Sorry
back
about
then.
the distractions there, audience.
That's all right.
Good God.
Yeah, goodness gracious.
Yeah. Who would have thought?
Now, the American Heritage Dictionary also states the acronym can be said both ways. The Oxford Dictionary says it can be said both ways. And the White House has made it clear. Last month, President Obama preferred to use the hard G. He's a hard man.
Yeah, well, I'm
using
going to
the
call
hard
him.
Gs.
If that's the case, I'm going to call him Barack Osama. Just to piss him off.
Barack Okaka.
No. Bereft Obama. I'll call him.
Bereft. Very
Bereft.
All right, now that's the end of GIF. I don't have that
Better than debriefed.
Didn't hear about Mrs. Marsh. I'm sad about that. Now, remember she used to break the chalk, didn't she? No, that was someone
That's right.
else. Was that her?
No, she was the Colgate.
Yeah, that was
Oh,
her.
it was, yeah.
Or who was the chick with the palm olive oil or something?
No, that's a Madge.
Oh, right.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Soaking
yeah.
in it, Madge.
That's right.
She looked like she was dead when she was doing the ads.
Oh, yeah. All right, now let's go back to Shane. Hopefully he might be able to bring us back to some sort of normality and level back to earth there with a serious story rather than a fairy story.
I've got the story about the Microsoft unveiling the Xbox, but that is probably a fairly big thing. So I might skip that.
Oh, you
and go.
give us the highlights. We probably should brush on that.
Yeah. Right, okay.
Are
So
there highlights or points?
they I don't know if they launched it, but they kind of revealed it. Basically, it's got a 500. My email just died. It's got a 500 gig hard drive. It is. I'm just gonna come on.
It's called the Xbox One. For those of you who are,
Yeah, it's called
Yes.
the Xbox One for some reason.
what was
How
it?
they spelt it this time?
Because it was
Sorry?
rumored. The rumor mill were going crazy. It was going to be the Xbox 720.
720.
720.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, it's Xbox One.
Why don't they just call it Xbox 180p, for God's sake? 1080p.
No, I'm trying to find a story where it just has all the specs
how's
rather than
how's that
bloody-
one spelt? Is it ONE or WON or ZQPL or?
My mate calls his ex-missus the Xbox. Yeah, come on. I don't know why. Maybe.
Right,
maybe.
so just
Probably
to
'cause she took
run
it off
through
him.
this story.
Played a lot of games.
Well, it's your top loader.
Okay, sorry, Shane. Shane's trying to be serious.
That's all right. I'm used to this. Got me story stolen last week, and
Why does Shane get all the humour stories? Okay,
Why
go.
does he keep coming back? That's what I don't understand.
I think you should mute Will.
I'm lonely.
Shane takes out $70. He's one of those ones. All right, sorry.
Oh no.
Has your
That's
email
all right.
come back up again?
Yeah, and it's been that long they've replaced the Xbox One with the Xbox Two. No one got the joke.
Yeah.
So anyway, it was launched the other night. With lots of fanfare. They focused really on the entertainment side of it and TVs and what you can do with it from an entertainment point of view. Strangely enough, they didn't really focus much on the gaming side. It comes out with the actual Connect part as part of the unit, so it's not a separate purchase. The controller is a wireless controller in that it's using Wi-Fi rather than kind of the normal standard kind of wireless connectivity
right.
that it would normally use, like the infrared.
Yeah, right.
Like I said before, it had the 500 gig hard drive. It's got 8 gig of RAM, and and that's only DDR3 RAM, I think, not the 5 that the Sony's got.
Now,
What else? No mention of price, no mention of launch date. There was a couple of games that kind of got a mention. EA brought one of their reps out and had a bit of a chat. But yeah, like I said, it was all about the entertainment side of it. You can do things like you can watch normal TV, and then you can have like snap that to part of the screen and have like a browser or Twitter or whatever going at the same time.
Yeah,
They
right.
showed the what they call the Xbox Surface, I think it is. I think that's the name of it, which is basically like a second screen for it.
Yeah, right.
What else did
Wasn't
it have?
there something? Was I right in seeing that there's something to do with the Xbox Live? You bought a game and you could share it across somewhere, like so. Maybe if a family owned a few Xboxes, one Xbox Live could play that game on every machine.
You can like game share. You can if the game supports it, you can like play part of it on the Xbox. You can then potentially play it on your computer and all that kind of stuff if it's one of those cross-platform games. The other big point that I tweeted about was it doesn't support, because it's using different architecture. It's all the old games won't work. So even the games for the current the 360 and all that kind of stuff, they're going to be no good. I would have thought, and I tweeted this the other day, that the downloadable games, I would have thought potentially Microsoft or whoever the game designer is would free of charge or maybe at a bit of a discount, you can kind of upgrade that game to play on the new Xbox. But I don't know if that'll happen or not.
Look, yeah, I don't know. I can see why they don't do it like that, because obviously they need to make money to keep these games coming out. But you would like a little bit of backwards compatibility. But then again, it's not Windows.
Yeah, it was all gesture driven. There's more gestures you can do. Like I said, there's the Snap one. It's really kind of Minority Report or NCIS kind of stuff.
It's funny to see how the Xbox can go like off in that direction, where the same as Apple, where backwards compatibility out the window, but then across the way you got Windows, where you can still probably play 3.1 games on Windows 8. Or 3.1 software.
Well, you can with
Windows
things like DOSBox and things like that, but yeah.
But even let's come forward a bit then and say like XP for sure. It runs the exact same way it was intended to run.
But even if you can't, you can run a virtual machine under it to do that. So you're right. There's always a way to do it. But I mean, look at that. I mean, look at what they did with the PS2, and the PS3 is backwards compatible to PS2 games, but not PS1. The PS2 is backwards compatible to PS1 games. But there's a point where the technology just has progressed so far that it won't work.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but this thing is not even going back to the current one.
No, but I kind of understand it. And I mean, really, if you've got you've got the 360, you've got the game on 360. Well, it's not going to be improved by playing it, and that's what happened with the PlayStation with PS3 when it came out. People were playing PS2 games on it, and the games are looking worse because they're actually being upscaled. So in the end, it was actually they would have been better off not allowing that and having a better experience. So maybe Microsoft actually learned from that. Maybe.
Yeah.
Well, that couldn't be bothered. One of the two.
Probably one of those ones. Now, just a quick shout out to Neil. Neil, are you still awake? I hope you are. Now, you've got a paperless public. Oh, Eric, did you have another story? You've been quiet over there. You sure?
I'm listening. I'm learning.
There's what? Are you listening to an audio book or something?
No.
All right, now.
How to be a podcaster.
A paperless.
How to use Good Blaster.
A paperless public library. Can you think of anything of such magnitude? Is it a library? A paperless library? It's weird, isn't it? But anyway,
well, it doesn't need a librarian, so it's not a librry. It's a repository.
Well, yeah. The world's
first. That sounds like something the doctor gives you.
The world's first completely paperless.
Well, it means the same thing. To put somewhere, put something somewhere to keep it safe.
To access it later. No, wait.
The world's first completely public paperless library is scheduled to open this summer in Bexar County, Texas. Bexar County so-called Bibelo Tech is a low-cost project with big ambitions. Its first branch will be in a relatively poor district on the city of San Antonio south side. It will have 100 e-readers on loan. So what does that mean? So that means
they've loaned 100 e-readers.
Oh, so I see. So it's for the library, not they don't lend e-readers out to the public. Okay. And dozens of screens where the public will be able to browse, study, and learn digital skills. However, it's likely most users will access Bilbo's Tech's initial holding of 10,000 digital titles from the control comfort of their homes, way out in the Texas hinterland. I don't know. Paperless library?
I bet it's going to be geographically bloody blocked and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah.
It's going to be interesting too. I mean, this is basically what Google Books has tried to do for the last 10 years, and every time they try to do it, they come up against opposition. So it's going to be interesting to see if people are just going to let it happen, because that, Microsoft, Google, Amazon, and a few other people have had massive problems trying to get people to sign on to allow them to scan books. So,
Oh, just quietly, I was looking for a book today, and I found it on Audible, of course, and I found it on iTunes as well. But I couldn't believe the price difference. Is that right? Like on Audible, say if you're not a member, it'll cost you $15, but on iTunes it's like $25. Is that?
Yep.
Is that
and that's
normal?
part of that's because iTunes takes such a high percentage of the
30%.
of the amount. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Don't the books on iTunes come from Audible anyway?
Yeah.
Yeah, but because Apple takes their 30%, they're going to be at least 30% dearer.
Yeah, right.
In a lot of cases, not in all cases, but in a lot of cases.
Well, in most cases, yeah, unless they're on sale.
Yeah, I was after. I actually did get it from the Audible. I got the Richard Branson's something like a Virgin or something. And
It's not bad. The
Yeah.
autobiography.
yeah. Have you heard it?
I know. I read the God help me, I read the paperback
Oh, right.
What? Did you have a blackout for a week or something?
years ago. Years ago. And no, the funny thing is, when he was Richard Branson's a pretty sort of up to date tech guy. When he was selling his autobiography in paperback, it came with a CD,
Nice.
with the audio CD, and you put it
Nice.
into your computer and you could listen to it, or put it onto your or burn the disc and put it
Yeah.
onto your iPod.
Yeah, right.
So back before it became an audiobook, he was pressing his own CDs, which came with the paperback.
Yeah. Well, then you think he was probably busy enough doing what he was doing, but geez, he should have seen that opportunity. Should have went, geez, that's an opportunity.
But when you're a billionaire with a couple of airlines and
Yeah.
phone companies and credit card companies and banks and all that sort of thing,
I
I think he's set.
Yeah.
And not
I think
liable
he's-
for any of it.
Well, not in this country.
Well,
but
he could have sent me an email and said, "Hey, Glenn, have you thought about audiobooks? Eh? Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Say no more."
don't forget, it's not Richard Branson's fault that Optus don't work very well.
Optus.
Because that's who they go. Their Virgin
Oh,
Mobile
okay.
goes for
Yeah,
Optus.
right. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, that's who I was through. Virgin.
I used to use them, and then
Turn it
yeah,
up. Rubbish. Now, where am I going? Shane, you got any more stories?
A couple. I got one about a Volvo.
Has it got hats in the
Waiting for it to
back
come up.
on the back seat?
No,
None of those.
no, it's about a new technology that Volvo are bringing out and putting into some of their cars. And I'm sitting in the wrong part of the house. And bloody wireless is shit in this part.
It's
Edit
been a
point.
bit like that. While Shane's trying to get his Wi-Fi sorted, I'll tell you as a secret. Just before the show, we had some immense problems before this show. I did anyway. You turn your computer on, and this is how it goes. This is what frustrates you sometimes. I turn the computer on, it wouldn't do the sound properly. Okay, so it kept coming up then with sound card errors. There's too many resources open, and you go, well, why? I haven't changed nothing since last week. Nothing changes. Everything stays the same. Nothing's moved. Nothing like this. No rats have crawled into the computer. No nothing. And you get these errors. And so I turned it all off. I did that twice, I think it was, and it came back okay. The first time it came back stuffed. The second time it was right. That just drives you mad. But anyway, Shane might be ready now.
Yeah, no, I'm good. All right, so basically, Volvo are bringing out a iPhone app. The Volvo V40 app does things like tells you where you've parked your car.
Screams at you when you're going too slow.
Too fast, man.
iPhone app tells you where you park your car. You can lock or unlock the doors. It'll alert you if someone's trying to break in. The sensors on the front bumper detect a pedestrian.
When it's time to empty your colostomy.
When a pedestrian has been struck, you would think that it would tell you.
When your
before
tweed jacket needs to go to the dry cleaner.
You get a tweet while you're driving. You've just run over a pedestrian. Yeah, thanks for that.
Your tweed jacket needs to go to the dry cleaner. I shouldn't laugh.
That's a handy feature. We need that.
Can I go to Tweed with my tweed?
You got radar, cruise control with Q assist. So that basically you can creep up the car in front of you. But obviously.
So you're an older type stalker.
Yeah, tailpipe bandit.
It's got a blue rinse alert.
It's time to take it out.
It's a blue rinse attraction seat siren.
It's got the lane wandering alert, auto dipping high.
That one would be getting a workout. The lane wandering alert. Be going off every 30 seconds.
Does it have auto blinker off?
No.
Can you,
radar on the radar? Suddenly. The radar laser system determines you're going to keep plowing on. Detects car when it's suddenly in front of you. It's got the self-parking system.
Hang on, no, what was that? It sends you a text when something appears in front of you.
No, this is part of the. This is more of the function of the cars, as well as the iPhone app's kind of one part of it, but then the car's got all this other stuff as well.
Great, the car sends you a text when there's something in front of you. Yeah, that's much handy.
You're going 100 miles an hour.
You look at it, you have an accident, and 35 airbags come out.
Can you put
Drivers
it on the?
Can select up to 3 different backgrounds in colours in their dash display.
Can you put it on the seat beside you and activate the nag function? It just sits there going, "You're going too slow, Reg."
Look out for that truck.
Did you take the garbage out?
You sure that SMS is working properly? There's something in front of us.
Pass me your Nokia.
Randomly, a little dog's head just pops up over the back seat and goes back down again.
Oh, can you pass me my monocle? All right.
Shouldn't bag though. Having said that, really shouldn't bag Volvo for a lot of stuff. They really did invent a lot of the safety stuff that we use these days.
And plus, they're nice to eat.
They've had it.
Oh, they're Vovos. Sorry.
They're Vovos. Ice Vovos. They're pink and fluffy. It's amazing how much innovation they do. We give them a hard time because Volvo's got a bad rap for that. But to be honest, they are. In terms of their technology, they're really ahead of the game. And I had a 1971 164. Nothing actually. No, it was like 1965, and it had heated seats. It had dual climate control. It had 4-wheel disc brakes. It had all this stuff that.
Sure, that wasn't you, Will.
Australian.
Providing the heat.
I mean, we haven't even seen a lot of that stuff in Australian cars until 95. So. They really were quite a long way in front. So yeah, we give them a hard time because they deserve it, but at the same time, they've got to have raps for what they do.
Well, I'll admit it, we've got a Volvo in our household.
Have you got the hat on the back seat?
No, it's the 4-wheel drive one.
The worst one of the lot.
It's the wife's vehicle.
What do they call it? X5. No, that's the Beamer.
XC90.
That's it.
Yeah, look,
don't ever change a battery in one of those.
They're all right, but geez, it was just so typical back 20 years ago of what a Volvo.
Look, even 10 years ago.
Yeah.
But I mean, some of the things they've given us, like they did the turbocharged 5-cylinder, the V5, the turbocharged V5, one of the most powerful motors of the time. So they've done a lot of great stuff, but they deserve copping a flogging just because of their own. It's their own fault for keeping a cube as a car for 60 years.
That's right.
They are beautiful to drive. They're very
I bet
gutsy.
you-
Oh,
bet
they're
you-
incredibly comfortable.
I bet they are. All right. Well, it seems like we've just been tearing Shane's stories apart tonight.
Yeah, thanks, Shane. Don't even bother coming next week.
So, look, I tell you,
Sorry, Shane.
I don't know if people actually, if they don't listen to towards the end of the show, but I think that's when it gets
They won't from
the
now
most
on.
looser, isn't it? So that's right. Well,
I
look,
just got.
yes, they go, Will.
I was going to say, I've just got a quick story quickly. A quick story quickly.
Yep. That's even
Caterpillar. You know, we all know and love Caterpillar. They've been making, you know, really cool toys for the last, I don't know, couple hundred years. They've
Should I,
started to make-
should I sort of say a disclaimer at this point? I work for a Caterpillar company.
That's
You
all right.
do or you don't?
Well, that's all
I
right.
do.
You
We
do.
should know about these then.
Which is owned by Kerry Stokes.
Yes.
Correct.
Well, you should know about this then. They've just released or they're in the process of releasing a new smartphone, but it's more than that. It's actually a tough phone. It's one of the few tough phones that are going to be on the market. They're calling it the B15 and the B25. There's actually two of them. The B15 is a ruggedized Android phone, and the B25 is more of a candy bar style phone. It still has a camera, still has like 2G web access and things like that, but it's more of a basic phone. And because it is a bit more basic, it's also got a longer battery life, also slightly more rugged. It'll survive I can't find the stats in front of me, but I think they say it survives a 2.8 meter drop without any effects at all. The B15 will survive a 1.8 meter drop without any effects at all. They're fully dust-proof, fully waterproofed. For an example, it runs the B15 is going to be $349 US. Runs a dual-core 1 gig processor, 4-inch screen, 512 meg RAM, 5 megapixel camera. It's got GPS, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, radio, all the good stuff. Android 4.1, and it's got talk time of 17 hours and a standby time of nearly a month. So
Wow.
it also comes in a dual SIM capacity as well. So you can have two different, you know, one business, one personal, whatever, on the same phone. Uses
how they're
Gorilla
gonna go.
Glass. Yeah, well, it should be. I mean, it uses Gorilla Glass and everything, so it's basically indestructible. I say you can drop it for 1.8 with no damage. It will survive a 10 meter drop onto concrete with minor damage. The phone's still usable though, and it's fully waterproof up to 25 meters, I think it is. So. So it's going to be quite amazing. $350 isn't a lot of money, especially for a phone like that, especially if you're in Builder or something like that, where your only options at the moment are like, I think Telstra's got a tough phone or something. I think Nokia did or might still have a tough phone, but really the market's very limited. So I think this will be something really good. So you can go to catphones.com and check them out there. You can pre-order them and whatever there.
So
How
it's
much, mate? How much are they?
Well, that smartphone is $349 US, and the other one being Candy Bar phone will be. I can't find a price for it off the top of my head, but it will be cheaper. I'm pretty much
About
guarantee it's going to be cheaper.
$75 or something.
Even if it's 150, I mean, it's a fully ruggedized, you know, phone. It still has internet, still has phone, camera, all that sort of stuff. So I mean, even at $150, it would be a fantastic phone. If you're in
Well,
that
if you're a
industry where,
tradie out
you
in
know.
the mines and whatnot, it's probably the perfect phone.
For sure.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it'll survive being run over by cars. You know,
Volvos.
worst case scenario is it will you know, damage the phone, but they say it's almost impossible to damage to the point where it's not usable.
Yeah.
So worst case scenario, you know, they might get damaged, but it'll probably still be usable. It also has a really neat feature on the Candy Bar phone, at least. It doesn't matter which way up you use it. It's smart enough to figure out if you're holding it upside down or whatever. So if you're in an awkward position, you're up in a roof and you only just managed to grab the thing, it just flips the speaker and microphone around, so it doesn't care which way around you use it.
Nice, because I know that's one of the probably my little irks with the iPhone is that it gets the
You can't
rotation
use it
wrong.
upside down.
Yeah,
You're holding it.
If you
You're not holding it right.
if you're laying in bed, you know, and you want to look at it in portrait, you can just get it at that angle where it's just, you know, doesn't know which way to go.
You know, you can
Yeah,
turn
but
that
you can
off
lock
on the
that.
Yeah,
You
I-
can lock
you can
that.
lock-
There's a setting.
yeah, I know, but I don't want to lock it. I want it just to know. I'd like to be able to set it myself. You know?
Just stop being a
on
massive git.
the Android, you can just take your fingers and rotate, and it'll rotate whichever way you want it.
That's the way.
So
Now,
you can lock it that way.
Yahoo has revamped Flickr. I don't know if anyone's got a Flickr account.
I don't use Flickr.
I have an account, and I probably have half a dozen photos up there, but it's not something... I see a lot of people on Twitter. Actually, the numbers have reduced. A lot of people are using Instagram now, so I think it's... Yeah, I don't know.
So they're offering a 1 terabyte of storage without a fee. It also allows users to host longer video clips and high resolution photos, and the new app has been launched for the Android devices. Number of features now include, as I said, 1 terabyte uplimit, a redesigned user face that fills more of the page with pictures of the expense of the white space, a new activity feed allowing users to see their own recent uploads mixed together with those of their friends, a new Android app, blah, blah, blah. One's coming for iOS soon at the end of the... updated release the update was released at the end of last year. A larger 200 meg limit on the size of each photo. Previously paid for accounts had a 50 meg limit. Whoa, geez. And people putting photos on buildings these days or something. And
They're raw. No, just raw files.
yeah, a 3-minute cap on playback of videos rather than the earlier limit of 90 seconds. So
Basically, they're trying, because the new Picasa and the new Google Drive and everything's come out, so all that's been upped. The amount of storage and the amount of all the caps and limits have all been increased. So they're basically trying to not lose people to Google at this point.
Which leads me into a very short story. Apparently, with the iOS 7, they will be adding support for Flickr and Vimeo.
Oh,
Vimeo, wow.
Yeah, well, no one uses Vimeo unless you want to put porn up there.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's anything that gets taken off YouTube goes to Vimeo.
That's right.
You know, Daily
I
Motion.
don't mind Vimeo.
The Daily Motion, yeah.
Yeah,
I think Vimeo is an anagram for something. We'll have to make something up. I know what the V stands for.
we could only imagine. Now,
Stands a video me online, I think.
It stands for Victoria.
does it?
Intimate male object. What? Huh?
What? All right, let's get out of here. Has anyone else got anything else
That's what she said.
before we get out of here?
Right. there's a just quickly, guys, get a virus scanner. I don't care if you've got a Mac. The arguments are false. Get a virus scanner. This thing by all the ISPs have released a thing saying that there's over 16,500 daily reports of malware-infected computers, and this is on the Zeus virus, which is I did read it somewhere, 2011. It started 2011, the Zeus virus, so it's not a new virus, so there's no excuse to have it. But basically, they're basically saying that there's 16,500 daily reports of this particular virus per ISP. It averages out to over whatever there is, 15 ISPs. And basically about 45% are coming from Macs.
Oh, there you go.
Impossible.
No, I hate to tell you this, but Macs are just as vulnerable as PCs.
No.
And so are iPhones. So just as easy to infect as Android phones. So if you have a Mac, put a virus scanner on it. If you have Windows, definitely put a virus scanner on it. If you don't like using the Microsoft Security Essentials, which is fine, but if you don't want to use that, or you want something a little bit better, try. There's plenty of free stuff, AVG or Avast. But there's no excuse to not have a virus scanner on your system. There's no excuse to infect my computer because you can't be bothered putting one on.
I've never had a problem with Microsoft Security Essentials, just quietly.
No, it's fine. It's for the most part, it's fine. The only issue I've ever had with that was it wouldn't do updates properly. It would update, but it wouldn't actually install it correctly. Then it would crash on the next reboot. It'd do a rollback. So it was fine 99% of the time, but just on the odd occasion it'd wig out. But that was early on, back when it was before it was even called Security Essentials. So it's probably all been fixed by now.
Defender.
All right.
Defender, that's it.
And you can't put multiple antiviruses on the one computer. It doesn't work.
No.
You should. Well, you shouldn't anyway.
But you shouldn't. But Defender's
you can, but
back.
you shouldn't.
Defender's back in
Really?
8. Yeah, because you can't download Microsoft Security Essentials for 8 because it's included in a Defender. and it's already there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you can't download
Fair
it.
enough.
So I think I'm not sure what happens if you need another one. I haven't got to that point yet, but you must have to do something.
Deactivate it.
But it is actually in you see it scanning, and it is actually Security Essentials, but it's in Defender somehow.
They just renamed it, yeah. Also, too, just quickly, if you've got like the EPCs or any of the small low-powered laptops and things like that, running a full-blown antivirus like Avast or AVG is pretty hard on the thing. So there's one called, there are a few, but there's one that I actually use called Panda, and it's an online-only version of that. And what it does is it basically keeps all the definitions and keeps all the hard stuff online and only actually puts the base program on your system. And every time you log on, it just does a scan of what the scanner runs. It keeps a log file. When you go online next, it matches that log file against the latest definitions, and it does it that way. So it's probably not quite as real time, but it's much more lightweight and easier for the small systems to handle.
All right, that's good. Now that's brought us to the end of the show, and let me tell you about the Shoutcast. It's 24/7. Goes through a few tech shows that we've got going there: the Ausdroid, Us Tech Webcast, Boys of Tech from New Zealand, Geeksphere.tv from New Zealand. That Garth has got his little iBlind Tech mini episodes, or whatever he wants to call them. There's also Des with his LinkedIn short snippets every week. And if you're into networking and LinkedIn, you want to give him a listen because he is an absolute guru at LinkedIn, and he'll give you a few pointers on how to make it work for you. Now, you can find that from the AussieTechRadio.com, and you can do what Shane did. Shane told me through the week that he listened to the Shoutcast radio. Now, you were driving home, Shane, weren't you, or something, and you thought, nothing on the radio? So he bunged on the Shoutcast. Now, can you put your... did you put that through your car speakers, or you just listen to it through the phone?
No, just through the phone.
Well, let me tell you...
Yeah, it'll work through Bluetooth if you have a Bluetooth-enabled device as well.
Yes, but let me tell everyone out there, when you're up to a new car radio, you get one that is, as we were saying, or a Bluetooth version 2. Is it Bluetooth 2, ADSP?
2 or above.
Yeah, ADSP.
They're actually up to
or
3 now,
like
but yeah, ADSP, yeah.
Yes, and what happens is your phone connects to the stereo, your radio, and pumps through your content. So your speakers in your car become your phone speakers. Sweet. That's great, because that's how I listen to my podcast in the car, and you don't have to listen to the tinny little iPhone speaker.
Yeah.
You can hardly hear it when you're on those bloody cement roads. And they're great.
If you've got a good phone that does noise cancelling as well, when you got your phone in the cradle, you can just take the calls through the car stereo as well, and it will use the microphone in your phone, and it will recognise the feedback from the system, so it'll cancel it out. So you can use it as a hands-free as well. It's also good for using your GPS navigations and whatever.
Yeah, I haven't got that far with the making the calls. Every time I get a call, don't ask. It's just I can't do it, but I've got to read the book. But anyway, jump on the AussieTechRadio.com and check that out. Also, before the show every Thursday,
and that goes live.
It does.
That goes live now when we do the live streaming. We switch the radio over.
So that's live right now. As I'm speaking right now, it is live. But not when you listen to it, but right when I was doing it, that is, So
unless you're really lucky and the 2 shows happen to line up, then, maybe.
Oh, how lucky would you be? Now, before the show every Thursday night, we've got the techwebcast.info, and sometimes we have Geeksphere video. I couldn't find one this week, but I'm sure they'll be coming back again. What else is there? There's, we mentioned the hosting, aussietechers.com.au/hosting, usbonthego.com.au. What else? That's about it. Twitters, we've got Mr. Tompkinson, we've got at Shane with a Y 1973, we've got at Eric Franco with Eric with a K, and me is at Aussie Tech Heads. But I'm starting to use my other one, at Glenn Goodman, so you can try and hook me up to that one, eh? That's going to be
Glenn with 2 N's.
Glenn with 2 N's. How everyone's got something we need to spell out. Great. Except Mr. Tompkinson. Oh, there's a K in there. So.
Oh no.
So Glenn, Will, Eric, or Shane at aussietechheads.com.au. All right, facebook.com/AussieTechHeads. There's iOS, and thanks Jason for giving us Android apps of the day just about every day. That is, so get in there. For paid apps now free. Jump on all that. Get involved. See you later, guys. See you later. I think they've all gone to sleep.
That's a bit
Oh, what's
unexpected.
going on? Oh, Glenn's still talking.
They've all gone to sleep.
Bye.
They loaded up the Volvo app. They're out of here. All right.
See ya.
Until next week, it's bye for now. Bye-bye.
Bye.